tension today in the geopolitical theater of the South China Sea. The awakening of China as a maritime power has ruffled feathers and stirred debates. President Xi Jinping's recent ceremonial visit to Napoleon's tomb in France signifies China's newfound confidence on the global stage, contrasting with Napoleon's cautionary words about the sleeping giant. The West, having long stirred China from its slumber for self-serving ends, now grapples with the consequences, particularly in the maritime domain. China's growing naval prowess, epitomized by recent clashes with neighboring nations like the Philippines and Vietnam over territorial waters, reflects a shift in global power dynamics. Historically, China's maritime ambitions date back centuries, exemplified by Admiral Xi's voyages of curiosity rather than conquest. However, contemporary tensions stem from conflicting claims over the South China Sea, where China's expansive territorial assertions clash with international law, notably the U.S. Law of the Sea Treaty. China's labyrinthine bureaucratic structure further complicates matters, with multiple government agencies and national oil companies influencing policy decisions. Despite calls for clarity and adherence to international norms, China's reluctance to engage in arbitration or legal mechanisms exacerbates tensions and undermines its credibility on the world stage. As neighboring countries seek unity in challenging China's maritime claims, the specter of a protracted conflict looms large. Urgent resolution, whether through legal channels or diplomatic means, is imperative to prevent further escalation and safeguard regional stability. China's refusal to address these issues transparently risks isolation and undermines its aspirations for global leadership. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said on Wednesday new rules outlined by China's Coast Guard that could result in the detention of foreigners in the South China Sea were an escalation and worrisome. China, which has maritime sovereignty disputes with the Philippines and other claimant countries, has issued new rules effective June 15 that would enforce a 2021 Coast Guard law and allow detention of foreigners suspected of trespassing. China routinely accuses vessels of trespassing in areas of the South China Sea that fall inside the exclusive economic zones of its neighbors and has clashed repeatedly with the Philippines in the past year. The new policy of threatening to detain our own citizens, that is different. That is an escalation of the situation, Marcos told reporters while on a state visit in Brunei. The Philippines will use any point of contact with China to stop aggressive actions and allow Filipino fishermen to fish in the South China Sea, Marcos said. If aggressive actions are managed, Marcos said, then we can go all about our business in a peaceful way. Marcos has taken a tougher line than his predecessor over China's actions in the South China Sea, emboldened by support from defense ally the United States, as well as Japan and Australia. China's embassy in Manila did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Beijing claims jurisdiction over most of the South China Sea, a conduit for more than $3 trillion in annual shipborne trade. In 2016, an international arbitral tribunal said China's vast claims had no basis under international law, a decision Beijing has rejected. China insists historic records and old maps make clear it has sovereignty over most of the sea and many islands there. Meanwhile, the Philippines rejected China's unilateral fishing ban in the South China Sea as tensions continued to roil in the disputed waterway. In a statement on Monday, the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs said China unilaterally informed the Philippines of its imposition of a fishing ban that would last till September 16, and that Manila has lodged a protest. Through a diplomatic note, the statement says, the Philippines protested the ban insofar as it includes the Philippines' maritime zones over which the Philippines has sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction. China's fishing ban will cover areas of the South China Sea north of the 12 degrees north latitude, according to the department. An official at the department confirmed to Nikkei Asia that the area includes Scarborough Shoal, but not the Second Thomas Shoal. The Philippines stressed that the unilateral imposition of the fishing moratorium raises tensions in the West Philippine and South China Seas. It directly contravenes the understanding between President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Chinese President Xi Jinping to manage differences through diplomacy and dialogue and to de-escalate the situation at sea, the Foreign Affairs statement says. Relations between Manila and Beijing have been deteriorating due to disputes in the South China Sea. On May 20, the Philippines called on China to open Scarborough Shoal located in an area of the South China Sea it serves as fishing grounds for both Filipinos and Chinese to international scrutiny, accusing Beijing of destroying a lagoon's ecosystem. The site is a maritime feature included in the landmark ruling by the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague in 2016, which Manila won against Beijing. Manila regularly stages humanitarian missions to those who make a living fishing off of the shoal. Beijing disrupts these missions by way of deliberate collisions and water cannon bombardments, actions that the international community has condemned. Chester Cabalza, founder of International Development and Security Cooperation, a think tank in Manila, said the ban has not deterred Filipino fishers. It becomes a threat to Filipino fishermen as China will try to legitimize and enforce their new ordinance, he told Nikkei Asia. Since China defies our arbitral award, it is feasible for the Philippines to defy their unacceptable actions. Don McLean Gill, an analyst and lecturer at De La Salle University in Manila, noted that Filipinos, despite what the Philippine Coast Guard characterizes as China's dangerous maneuvers, still manage to fish in the area. Nevertheless, he added, there are still risks of escalation. Hence, it is likely for Manila to remain cautious and utilize its open channels with Beijing while simultaneously emphasizing how the illicit and unilateral actions of China continue to derail bilateral ties.